Mo mọ ohun etí mi ti gbọ́. Lọ́gán tó gbọ́ ìlú ayọ̀ rẹ̀ olùgbàlà. Ayé mi
After.
létò.
Where you say someone is like someone.
Hello, our viewers and listeners at home. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. I remain your host, Oluwafemi Samson. Last week we started a topic about Christian youth and politics. We've heard different views from different people, and today we have a man of God in the house who will tell us more about involvement of Christian youth and Christians generally in politics, and what does the Bible say about it. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you on the show.
Thank you,
We're
sir.
very honored. Thank you
you
for honoring our invitation.
Thank you.
So we would like you to meet our viewers and listeners at home. Just tell them about yourself.
My name is alesholuseye, a pastor, a minister, an associate pastor at CAC Sheraton Hotel Assembly at IKEJA.
Thank you very much. So we've been talking about Christian youth and politics. So I will start the conversation today about what in the scriptural angle or the biblical angle. What is Bible saying about youth, Christian youth involvement in partisan politics? Is it encourageable for our Christian youths to go into politics, knowing the nature of how politics is run in Nigeria? So can you encourage our youths to go into politics, or is it detrimental to their spiritual life?
Well, thank you for having me once again. This topic is a big topic, and one needs to look at it very holistically before you answer something, because it's a debate, mostly in Christendom, in Christian forum like that. Firstly, who do we call a Christian? We need to understand who a Christian is. This will open our eyes to what such person is to involve in or not. As a Christian, the name connotes Christ-like. That is, who are you after? Where you say someone is like someone, you are taking after someone, you are doing the way that person is doing, you follow the principles, you follow all those teachings of Christ. Coming to that now, Christian is someone that is a follower of Jesus Christ.
Okay. Before you go ahead, I quickly want you to clarify something. You know, you said Christian is someone that is Christ-like. Yeah, so I want you to verify if someone that bears the name after Christ, or how do you define someone that is Christ-like? If someone bears the name after Christ, can we count the person as Christian? Especially if we look at Nigeria's system, we can differentiate if you're a Christian or Muslim or traditionalist from your name. So tell us more about that.
Yes, when we talk about Christ-like, I said image, one. When we talk about image, not necessarily the facial look. No. We are all, God bless you, sir. We are all created in God's image. Because God said it in Genesis chapter 1:26. He said, come, let's create man in our own image. So, in John chapter 1, when we now talk about the Word was with God, and God was the Word. Then he now said, the Word became flesh and dwells among us. And now said in verse 14, he said, that Word that dwells among us, men don't know that Word, because that Word is Christ. Praise the Lord. So when we now talk about someone in Christ-like image. Christ-like, that is, you have the same attribute as the one you follow. Attitude, character, the teachings, his beliefs.
Okay.
Those things he stood for. Are you actually standing for? So, bearing a Christian name doesn't make you a Christian.
Okay.
Let's separate that. Yeah. Bearing a Christian name, we have some Christian people, you hear some people's name that is after biblical names, whether Old Testament or New Testament, but their ways of life did not connote or doesn't show that they are Christ-like. Because anybody who bears that name, for example, now my name is David. And David is from the Old Testament, even before Christ, the New Testament. But that name David signifies something, one after God's heart. So if today that I bear David and I'm doing things outside God's laws, outside God's commandment, then I'm not God's image. I've violated the reasons why Christ came. I'm no longer a Christ-like. So, if you bear a name, you bear Joshua or you bear Timothy, and you don't behave according to the principle, the laws, the rules Jesus Christ gave, which is love, the principal rules, love. You don't have. You don't love one another. You don't love your neighbor, and the fruits that we found in those disciples, the early disciples of Christ, you don't bear them. You don't bear all those things. You are not submissive. There are some things for example, in Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, 23, 21, 23, you have those fruits of the Spirit. Those are the things that will show that, this person is a Christian. This person is Christ-like. Or let's say 1 Peter 2, you have them like that. Those ones you are supposed to follow. So if you are doing things contrary to those teachings in the Holy Book, which comprises the Old Testament and the New Testament, the 66 books, the canonized one, if you are not doing things according to those books, and you bear those names I mentioned, Timothy, Matthew, then I will advise you remove that name.
Thank you for that, for clarifying that bearing a name after Christ or after disciples of Christ does not make you a Christian.
Does not make you a Christian.
And the fact that you attend a church, you pray, doesn't really make you a Christian.
Not at all.
But until you live your life according to the principles of Christ, you love your neighbor, you do the right thing.
You do the right thing. You follow the principles. And you show it to others.
As your Lord and Savior. Yes. And those things are displayed in
your attitude.
Yes. That is when you're a Christian.
That is when you're a Christian.
So thank you very much for defining that. Now talking about Christian youth now. Definition of youth sometimes is somehow controversial.
Okay.
Some people believe that if you are above the age of 50, you are not a youth. But if we still have a kind of discussion with some adults above 50, they will be like, I am still a youth. I'm still
agile.
So now talking about Christian youth, let's define possibly between 18 and 50 years.
Okay.
Christians that have the passion for Christ, passion for heaven, they have passion for gospel, they dedicate their life to Christ. And their goal is to make heaven. So do you encourage such people that have been thriving, giving different kind of sacrifices to maintain their sanctity with Christ? Do you encourage them to go into politics?
Yeah. Firstly, when we talk about politics, what is the stand of the Bible? If you look at the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation, there is nowhere you will see in the Bible that the Bible mention about politics, whether you should involve or not. There is no way you say whether a Christian should involve or not. But as a Christian, we have it. God is the founder of kingdoms.
Okay.
Praise the Lord. God is the founder, is the creator. So he wants you to evolve because he is the first person that got involved. How? He made the word. Now feel, okay, man, in my image, come. If you look at that Genesis chapter 1 and even Genesis chapter 2, look at the creation. God has made, he created, he has made them before human. And when he now made human, he now said, man, be in charge. That is what he has created. He wants man to be in charge. That is where it comes from first. That is, man should be in charge. That is, man is supposed to be in charge of this world. Man is supposed to be in charge of the nation. Man is supposed to. It has been like that. Then from the Old Testament to when they have kings, not that God was ruling them, but later
but he put people in place,
people in charge,
direct them and take responsibilities.
Thank you. And as a Christian, that I said initially, I said a Christian that believes in the book, the only book, which is our guiding principle. If you study the book very well, you know that man, you are supposed to be in charge. You are supposed to be in charge. And coming to youth, as a youth, who is youth? What, like the question you asked, from what range? 18, Nigeria Constitution says, once you are 18 years, you can vote and be voted for. Depending on your nation, depending on the country. You know, I've tried to establish that man is supposed to be in charge. Now, coming to Christian youth, the youth now. The age, depending on the country, we have some countries, I think maybe Russia, maybe it's 21 years before they could recognize you. And there are in some countries, women cannot vote and cannot be voted for, but not like in Nigeria. Now, as a Christian, for the fact that the Bible has said it, even the New Testament said we are supposed to pay taxes, we are supposed to, that means he wants us to be involved in day-to-day governance, that is governing of ourselves.
Okay.
So if that has been established, then for those things, my taxes, my levies, according to Romans chapter 13, that is saying we should all pay all our taxes, we should be subjected to the rulers. Then, since God has said, man, we should rule ourselves as a Christian, you should be interested in how things around you are going.
Okay, thank you very much for that. If I get you right, you encourage, or it's a good thing.
It's a good thing
for Christian youth to be
involved in politics.
Because they need to be. If you look at the trend of things in the Garden of Eden, God was with Adam and Eve, and he was guiding them. At oftentimes he will come.
Yes.
What are you doing? But after man fell, that wasn't the case. Then Abraham came, covenant and all that.
Covenant period.
Came,
yes.
Prophets and all that, they were in charge. And when it got to a particular time, the Israelites were like, no, we don't want prophets to rule us again, we want kings.
Kings to rule us. Yes.
And after a while, the ruling of kings stopped, and then we have political system to be our leader. Now, do you think there is any risk, or what are the risks in politics for Christian youth that wants to be involved? Or is it just a smooth ride? They should be involved, and whatever comes, they go with it.
Thank you. There are risks in everything.
Yes, in life.
As we sit down, anything can happen, but we always pray for good things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
There is no business. There is nothing on earth that doesn't involve risk. So politics also is a game of risk. It's a game of risk.
Yeah, but let me come in this angle. Sorry to cut you short a bit. You know, knowing Nigeria's system, we believe risk there, power tussle, diabolic means, people get into power through diabolic means. They go to different diabolics to cast spell on the other, the kidnapping, assassination and all those things. Those are the critical ones that I want us to focus on.
Yeah, okay.
They are scary.
Okay.
As a parent, if you know these are the risks, if you want to go into any project, you do your risk analysis.
Yes.
So you now look at, okay, which one can you bear, which one do you need to transfer, which one do you need to just forget. So looking at these things in Nigeria, if you look at the current one now, in news, one of those people in politics, though he's not a Christian, the DSS, they went to his house.
Okay.
Lives were lost in that process.
Okay.
Looking at, that's how political system of Nigeria. We've had prominent politicians that have been assassinated, and even some families wiped off. With all this risk, you still encourage Christian youths to go into politics, or if you encourage them, how can they survive in this kind of scenario?
I said the other time, everything's all about risk.
Yeah.
And let me back it up with a Bible reference, please.
Okay.
Let's look at Daniel. Daniel chapter 5. Daniel chapter 6. Daniel chapter 6. Maybe this will be able to shed more light to it. He said, it's all about the Daniel story, how he and his friends were captured from Judah to Babylon.
Okay.
And during that period, he was a young person when he was captured.
Yeah.
He was a young person when he was captured. That should tell us that, at the tender age, at his youthful age, he was picked. But something made Daniel different. So from chapter 1, I said, when they brought him to the king said he wants those people that are intelligent. He wants those people that are intelligent, that are good looking, and he wants them to be fed. Why? Because he has some things to offer. He wants those people that will surround him to make decisions. He wants those people that are intelligent, those people that are okay, that are sound. That was his plan, his plans. So, coming to that story I'm trying to bring out here, Daniel he told he said, don't give me food, don't give us what you are feeding them in the palace. He sacrificed some things, he was disciplined.
Okay.
As a Christian youth, you have to be disciplined. First, I said it initially, that if you call yourself a Christian, there are some things that must be your watchword. You have to be disciplined, you have to sacrifice some things. Now, Daniel, after going through all this, he didn't eat, he didn't defile himself, he knew what he stood for, he believed in some things, and he stood for it. He and his friends. Then when it got to chapter 6, where I choose here, he said, Darius, it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 satraps to be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 governors, of whom Daniel was one, that the satraps might give account to them, so that the king will suffer no loss. You can see from chapter 1, I have to jump to that chapter 6. Within that period, there was a time he interprets dreams, he did some things that makes him extraordinary. That makes him extraordinary. Then the king identifies him.
Okay.
So, what now happened? He didn't lobby it. The king made him a governor. First, a governor. Later, they have series of governors. That is politics. Daniel into politics now. What paved way for Daniel is commitment, self-discipline, believe in God. He prays. Do you get it now? As a Christian, coming to that question now, you can say things are risky. Oh, they kill themselves, they do this. As a Christian youth, who do you believe? Do you believe in God? Do you serve God? Then, before going into politics, what convictions do you have? Have you taken your time to pray? Has God told you to go? Has God told you, take this up. You don't do things carnally. Because coming to Nigerian politics, like you've said, Nigerian politics is all about do or die.
Okay.
I have once involved in it, but don't let us go there. Oh. Yes. Or we will go there. We go there. We
would like to hear.
So before then, we'll get it. He said, because that was in that verse 1, said he wants to make one person the head of all the governors, the head of all the province. Don't forget, Daniel is not from Babylon.
Yeah.
From another place. Now, what happened? He picked Daniel over them, over all other province, all other governors. Just like we have God forum in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. We have the south, we have the north, we have this, but we still have one that heads all the governors. So that is to tell you that despite that he was a governor, he stood out among them. For a Christian youth to stand out among others, you need to be prayerful. You need to move closer to God. Then you need to know how God speaks to you. If God didn't tell you to go and you involve yourself, you will run back. So look at the example you gave, the sessionist, or should I say, advocating for. Yes, he's not a Christian, though he claims he's a Christian. But to me, he's not a Christian because there are some things. Because even the Bible never told us to.
No, sorry, I just made reference to that to analyze the kind of risk that we
have. Yes.
Like, from what you said, you highlighted some things, some qualities that a Christian youth needs to succeed in politics.
To succeed.
Okay, you need to have a clear
vision, voice from God.
You have a clear vision. You need to be well disciplined. Be prayerful. You don't need to lobby. Do the right thing at the right time, and you will be seen as long as you are doing the right thing, because the glory of God is on you. Mm-hmm. You will be able to succeed. Now, talking about the risk, Bible says the weapon of our warfare is not carnal, right? But they are powerful through God. Now, you're being confronted with different physical weapons or physical attack and abuse, or different form as it is in Nigerian politics. So, what is the best way? Look at Daniel. When the king promoted him, they conspired against him.
Yes.
Right? And he was thrown into the lion's den. But God was faithful enough to save him. Now, that was a kind of conspiracy. We have some that are higher than that. Even the apostles, they were killed by people in politics because what they are preaching is against the government. It's standing against the rule of the government as at that time. Truly, they are doing the right thing. They are doing the will of God. They are preaching the gospel, saving lives. But they were killed by the people in politics.
Okay.
So, all these things are the things that make many youth. I would rather be in my gentle place and save my life than